There is one last thing I want to leave you with tonight as we wrap up this journey together. It's not just a fleeting thought or a quick piece of advice. It's something deeper, something I hope you'll carry with you like a quiet companion long after the screen fades to black and the world around you returns to its usual rhythm. In a life filled with distractions, deadlines, and the endless scroll of daily noise, we all need anchors, those little truths that ground us when everything else feels adrift. And this, my friend, is one of those anchors. Something to hold on to when this video ends. Something that will linger in your thoughts, whispering to you in quiet moments long after you stop watching and move on to whatever comes next. Let me paint this picture for you slowly, because these ideas deserve time to unfold, like a story that builds layer by layer until it resonates in your soul. Love, true, profound love does not come with perfect timing. It doesn't wait for the stars to align or for your calendar to. It doesn't politely knock on your door when you're fully prepared, with your heart neatly organized, and your life in impeccable order. No, love is wilder than that, more unpredictable, like a storm that rolls in without warning, or a sunrise that catches you off guard with its beauty, just when you thought the night would never end. Think about it. How many times have we convinced ourselves that love should follow us? We imagine it arriving in grand cinematic fashion, perhaps at a wedding where eyes meet across a crowded dance floor, or during a planned vacation where serendipity feels scripted. But real life isn't a movie with a tidy plot. Love arrives in moments like this, moments that seem ordinary at first glance, but are charged with an electricity that changes everything. Moments when two people who by all logic and reason should never have found each other suddenly collide in the quiet of the night. Maybe it's a late-night conversation sparked by a random message, or a shared glance in a dimly lit cafe that stretches into hours. These are the collisions that defy probability, or not because of careful planning, but because the universe has a way of weaving threads we didn't even know existed. Let me share a story to illustrate this. One that I've held close for years, drawn from the lives of people I've known or heard about and those intimate confessions that happen when the world slows down. There was a woman I once knew, let's call her Elena, who had built her life around structure and certainty. She was in her mid-30s, successful in her career as a graphic designer, living in a bustling city where every day was mapped out with meetings, deadlines, and the comforting routine of her solo apartment. Love, she thought, would come later, when she was ready, when her heart had healed from past wounds, when the timing felt right. But one rainy evening, as she sat alone in her favorite bookstore, flipping through pages of forgotten poetry, a stranger approached. He wasn't her type, not by any stretch, older, with a quiet demeanor that contrasted her vibrant energy, and from a completely different world, a traveler who had just returned from months abroad. They shouldn't have clicked. Their lives were on parallel tracks that would never. Yet in that quiet of the night, surrounded by the scent of old books and the soft patter of rain on the windows, their conversation ignited something. A shared laugh over a line of verse, a vulnerable admission about dreams unfulfilled. It was a collision, sudden and profound. From there, it unfolded not in a rush, but in layers. Moments when one voice reaches another across distance and touches something sacred inside them. In Elena's case, started with phone calls that bridged the miles when he had to travel. His voice, steady and warm, would cut through the static of her busy days, reaching into that hidden part of her, the sacred space where doubts lingered and hopes flickered like candlelight. It wasn't about grand gestures. It was about those small, intimate exchanges that build a bridge between souls. Hold on, no. A text at midnight sharing a quote that perfectly captured her mood, or a voice note describing a sunset he wished she could see. These are the touches that matter, the ones that resonate on a level deeper than words, awakening parts of us we didn't know were asleep. And then there are those pivotal instances when the heart says, without hesitation, this is the person you were meant to feel, not just meet, not just know, but feel in every fiber of your being. For Elena, that moment came during a simple walk in the park, months into their unexpected connection. The leaves were turning autumn gold, and as they talked about nothing and everything, she felt it, a certainty that settled in her chest like a long-lost key fitting into a lock. Her heart whispered, then shouted, This is the one who makes the world feel a little less lonely, a little more alive. It wasn't perfect timing. She was in the middle of a career shift. He was dealing with family obligations far away. But love doesn't care about timelines. It arrives, and when it does, it demands to be felt. Now let's expand on this idea a bit more, because I know that in our fast-paced world, we often rush past these truths without letting them sink in. Consider the science behind it, if you will. Though I'm no expert, I've delved into enough psychology and philosophy to appreciate how our brains and hearts conspire in these matters. Neurologists talk about limbic resonance, that profound emotional attunement where two people's nervous systems sync up, creating a bond that feels almost predestined. It's not magic, it's biology meeting destiny. Philosophers like Rumi have written volumes on this, saying that lovers don't finally meet somewhere. They're in each other all along, waiting for the right moment to awaken. And in modern times, we've seen it play out in countless real-life stories shared in podcasts, in books, or even in anonymous online forums where people confess their unexpected loves. Take, for example, the tale of a couple I read about. In a memoir, two individuals from opposite sides of the globe connected through a work conference that neither wanted to attend. She was a journalist from New York, he an engineer from Tokyo. Their worlds couldn't have been more different. Cultures clashing, languages bridging gaps with awkward translations, time zones turning day into night. Yet, in a quiet hotel lobby after a long day of panels, their paths collided. A shared complaint about jet lag turned into a deep discussion about life's fleeting nature. Across the distance of oceans of backgrounds, one voice reached the other, touching that sacred core where vulnerability lives. Months of virtual conversations followed, building to that heart-affirming realization. This is the person. They married 2 years later, proving that love's timing is its own master. But let's not romanticize it too much without acknowledging the challenges, because a 22-minute reflection deserves honesty. These moments aren't always easy. When love arrives unannounced, it can upend your plans, force you to confront fears, and push you out of your comfort zone. Real love thrives in the imperfect, in the now, urging us to seize the moment before it slips away. If you've ever experienced this, it wasn't perfect, she said, but it was ours. Their voices, even now, reached across decades, touching the sacred in each other. Their hearts knew. So as this draws to a close far longer than a fleeting thought, rich with stories and reflections, carry. Love's timing is its own perfection. If you're that one tonight, remember, feel it, embrace it, live it. Thank you for sharing this time with me. Good night.